Let me start.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Tracks. I'm Sarah.
And I'm JJ.
And this is our 103rd episode?
Second.
102nd episode.
I think it's 102.
I don't remember. This is bad. See, because we're recording on weird nights lately because we have been so embedded in the chaos of still unpacking that it's just nuts.
Yep. So. Somebody commented that the audio sounded weird, and I was like, it's our first time in this new room.
It is such a weird room. It's very echoey.
Because
I
we
can
haven't put
feel
it on
it.
The walls yet. Like and so it's like, sorry, we only have one good microphone and one bad microphone, and in an echoey room, it's like,
if you would like to fund the purchase of a better microphone, we would be grateful, and you would probably be grateful too for the improved sound quality.
Yeah, let's see. So we're here, and I'm excited to be here. What is our tagline? Commentary on Christian life and culture from a pastor's wife and her sidekick. It's not as cute when I say it though, because like that's your line.
Yeah, because I'm not the sidekick.
Okay, so I have like little pieces, and so I'm gonna put them all together after our sponsors. But first, we have some goofy stories.
Yes, we do.
So let's, because I'm excited. I have like scattered stories, but I'm so excited to bring them all together.
Do you want to go first this time with stories then?
Oh, we never do that.
Yeah, I
yes,
know.
Let's do it. All right. So coming from ABC News. Now, here's another article. This has been happening to me lately. Basically, what's going on is like I find out about a story. Like the Sydney
after it happened.
Yeah. It's like this is an old story, but it's so good, and I didn't hear about it at the time. So this is not recent. I just love it so much I have to share it with you. So ABC News reports hundreds of men show up for Dallas school's, quote, Breakfast with Dads event. So a school in Dallas was hosting, and this is actually from 2018, so it's 6 years old, but the school was hosting an event for Breakfast with Dads, and they realized that there was a chunk of the students that weren't going to have dads show up.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so they estimated as 150 students out of all the student body that were ages 11 to 13 may not have a dad to join them for the breakfast. So the school leader got an idea. She put a notice up on Facebook seeking volunteers. She's like, I'm looking for 50 dads. Like, I just want 50 people who are dads who can come in and be supportive to these children. She got hundreds of responses. In 4 days, she had 400 mentors interested in participating. Ultimately, over 600 men showed up to Billy Earl Dade Middle School for this event.
Aw, that's so cute.
The dads came out of the woodwork.
Aw, that's so sweet.
So along with serving breakfast, the event featured a variety of icebreaker activities, and there was a photographer who was interviewed, and she's like, this is amazing. Jamil Tucker, one of the volunteers, gave each man a tie in an effort to teach the students how to tie a tie.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right? And so the photographer was like, I started crying behind my camera. She recalled of the heartwarming moment. The back of my camera was getting all fogged up. And it's like the picture they've got here is an older African-American man helping a young white boy learn how to tie a tie.
That is so cute.
And it's just, it's like you never forget as a young man, the first time you tie a tie, so many of our young men never experience that rite of passage. And so the mentors who showed up for the Breakfast with Dad, the organizer hopes that some of them will actually continue to work with her because they need mentors for this kind of thing. So and her day job is working as a children's advocate at an organization called Big Thought, which is a nonprofit educational organization.
Aww.
Our next step is to bring guys together again and have them participate in various opportunities for mentorship.
Aww,
like taking
that's
it beyond just
so sweet.
Isn't that just amazing?
I love that. I've not heard of that either.
I need 50 volunteers, and 600 dads were like, we'll be there. What do you need? Like,
oh, that's awesome.
I feel like if I found out a local school was doing that,
that is really admirable.
I love being a dad, and I love that my children are going to grow up with their dad, and it's like, I would, if there's a kid who doesn't have that, I would want to be there.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh. So it warmed my heart, and I was like, I don't know, it went by, it showed up on my social media feed, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I was like, is it even real? And I looked it up, and it is real. It's just old.
That's so crazy.
So I loved it.
But cool.
I was like, I gotta share this.
I love that.
It's such a good story.
That's awesome.
Tearjerker.
Very much so. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna do this story first because
Right,
it's kind of it's a short blurb, but it made me chuckle. So, French National Library quarantines poisonous books. Okay, so the National Library of France found 4 books whose green covers likely contain arsenic.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought it was like a book banning content.
No, legitimately.
Commentary.
I thought so too when I clicked on the article and I was like, this is a little bit ridiculous. But then I read the thing and it
this
said,
book is poisoning their minds.
France's National Library said Thursday it had removed 4 19th century books from its shelves whose emerald green covers were likely laced with highly poisonous arsenic.
Way.
They were printed in Britain, probably causing only minor harm, but they were taking necessary precautions for further analysis. We put the books in quarantine at an external library or at an external laboratory. We'll analyze them to evaluate how much arsenic is present.
Why is there arsenic in a book?
Apparently,
I
it was common. U.S. researchers discovered publishers in the Victorian era used the chemical to color book bindings.
That's horrifying.
Right? So the arsenic-containing green pigments were called Paris green, emerald green, or even Scheele's green after a German-born chemist. So they test hundreds of books for heavy metals since 2019, and then the University of Delaware in the U.S. has a drawn-up list of potentially dangerous volumes as part of their poison book project. So they study the covers of books to identify which ones may have poison in them.
Wow.
So the French Library found that in its collection of more than 16 million titles, only 4 copies of books on the list were poisonous.
That's so crazy, and I've never, man. I
would never think of arsenic.
They didn't know what arsenic did or was back when they were using it in paint, right?
Right.
It's just like, but it's leaching poison on. Oh, how did they find out? Did a kid get sick?
I don't know.
Something? Oh, now I'm like sad.
I don't know.
Fascinating, poisonous books.
Yeah, the National Library of France said it would also examine other covered books beyond the Poison Book Project list.
You said 17th century.
No, it said in the Victorian era it was common. Oh, yeah, it says from the 1800s some of the books.
So
4 19th century books were found to contain them because they did this.
Okay, so we're talking 150 to 200 years old or so.
Yep.
Okay. That's a little crazy because we live in a super old house now, and this house is 100 years old. But they're not going to have arsenic in the paint.
No, maybe they will have lead paint, but that's under so many layers. I mean, they've got so much paint in this place.
That's true, yeah.
And in this room, not here because this is a finished basement. So.
Well, we know not to eat the paint.
Eat the paint, yeah. Don't lick the walls. But anyway, it says...
Or your library books.
The Poison Book Project says arsenic-laced green bindings present a health risk to librarians, booksellers, collectors, researchers, and should be handled and stored with caution. So,
my library book has kind of
any old books that you have might have arsenic in it, so be careful.
I do have, let's see, probably the oldest book I have a couple of copies of the original Captain Blood, which is like a pirate story, but those are maybe... not quite 100. I think they were written in the 1930s.
Okay, so you probably are
or
okay.
The binding is from 1930s. That might be the oldest I have, but I
have a couple old books from probably the oldest books I have are from the 30s or the 20s.
We have some of those.
Yeah, but they don't have the original bindings. Those are reprints from
right.
the 70s or whatever.
That's true. I have lots of books that were written back then, but they were bound in the last.
It's a reprint.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
That's 1800s, but
you don't have an original copy.
Exactly.
You would know if you did.
Well, I do have, but that's what I mean. The Captain Blood book, because I have 2 copies. I have an updated one,
it's right there.
but then I have a really, really old one. Yeah, it's just right there on the shelf. Is it? Lick it. See what happens.
It's a reprint. It's got a colorful cover.
That's true.
It's not an old original.
But where did the color come from? Is it arsenic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
What color? So, wait, did you say it was green? What
the green were the ones that were colored with arsenic. Yep.
Green. Arsenic is green. Or helps color things green.
It colored things. They used it in coloring things green. So
that's amazing.
Things to be aware of. So, just as a PS, the public service announcement, check your home for old books colored green. This will apply to no one. However, if you're really into literature, you may want to go get tested for arsenic poisoning.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. All right, so you remember last week we had the story about the AI coffee brewing place. Brewery?
Yeah, that was
right?
my story.
Right. And
in
it
Finland.
Was cool because the AI not only designed the like the art around it, but also how like the recipe
Yeah,
for
they
it. And
came up with a 4-bean blend.
it did everything, right?
Yeah.
So I have a much less friendly AI story about a terrible use of AI. So I think that the coffee story was a lovely and good use of AI.
Okay.
This story from NPR: a Baltimore area teacher is accused of using AI to make his boss appear racist.
Oh.
Yeah. So Maryland High School athletic director is facing criminal charges after the police say he used artificial intelligence to duplicate the voice of his boss, the high school principal, Eric Eiswert, leading the community to believe that Eiswert said racist and anti-Semitic things about teachers and students.
Whoa.
So this PE teacher used AI to create a fake recording of the principal saying horrible things, and then he turned it into like a reporter or something so that the principal would get in trouble.
Did he have something against this principal?
Yes,
like something happened?
I don't know how to say his name. Dazhan Darian, 31 years old, was arrested on Thursdays on charges of stalking, theft, disruption of school operations, and retaliation against a witness after months-long investigation of the Baltimore County Police Department.
Whoa.
They caught him. The principal had been on his case. So he actually, and again, this is alleged. They haven't confirmed it, but there's $1,900 that went missing from a fundraiser. They think he may have taken the money. It was supposed to be used to pay someone for something, but that person never actually did the thing, and the money just kind of disappeared.
Oh.
And so he was under kind of an investigation for that. And then also he had been in trouble for firing a coach or something.
Okay.
There was some stuff so he was in some trouble, and he was mad at the principal for getting him in trouble. So he said they analyzed the recording for the police. They now know that the wild headline-making details of the case. Moving that aside, it emphasizes the serious potential for criminal misuse of artificial intelligence that experts have been warning about for some time.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, guys, we have to get on top of this AI thing because this could be used, for a couple of bucks. Anyone can harness the artificial intelligence and make audio and visual, what they call deep fakes. And deep fake detection software doesn't always get it right.
That's awful.
We have not caught up with the AI tech to know when something is fake.
Right.
And so what this said, one of the guys who helped the police department on this, he's like, it's not a canary in a coal mine. I think the canary's been dead for a while. What's so particular, this is a quote from the guy Farid, what's so particularly poignant here is that this is a Baltimore school principal. This is not Taylor Swift. This is not Joe Biden. It's not Elon Musk. It's just some guy trying to get through his day. It shows you the vulnerability, how anybody can create this stuff and they can weaponize it against anybody. So his scheme began in January in an attempt to retaliate against the principal. The charging documents that were provided to NPR said this. The two men were at odds because of work performance challenges, is what the police wrote. The principal launched an investigation into this guy over the mishandling of the money, and then he also fired an assistant girls soccer coach without the principal's permission. And he's like, hiring and firing is a principal's thing. You don't do that. So he was in trouble. His contract, the principal told this teacher, it's possible your contract's not going to get renewed next semester. And so that's when he hatched this scheme.
Yikes.
Problem is, it worked. January 17th, they found the voice recording purporting to be the principal. It was spreading on social media. Apparently, the audio clip has profound repercussions. The principal was temporarily removed from the school. It triggered a wave of hate-filled messages on social media and numerous calls to the school. It also caused disruptions to the staff and students. The school was inundated with threatening messages, and the head of the union said the principal's family was being harassed and threatened. So they don't tell us what the message said, which, to be honest, I don't want to know. But this fake message,
that's awful,
got this principal in, and the principal from the start said, that is not me. I never said that. He believed the recording was a fake. So they now have this guy under in custody, and he's been arrested, and the principal's been cleared, and all of that. The question for me is, like, I think bad news spreads faster than good news.
Yeah.
So is the news of the good news that it was fake, is that going to go to all the places that the bad news went?
Right.
Or is his name going to be really cleared? Is his reputation going to be cleaned up?
People will probably just turn their head and be like, nope, I'm still not into it.
Nope, you're still a bad guy. It's like, come on, that's not fair.
No.
So the guy who they interviewed, who helped the police discover that this was a deep fake, he said that it is really hard to tell the differences, and this was something that just like a regular, like a PE teacher was able to do with a couple of bucks and some AI software.
Wow.
We should be.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, the article ends with a call for regulation. He's like, I don't understand at what point we're going to wake up as a country and say, like, why are we allowing this? Where are our regulators?
Yeah, for real.
This stuff should be illegal.
Ugh, it's horrifying.
It takes a few dollars and 8 minutes to create a deep fake recording.
Wow.
That's just terrifying. I don't know. I wouldn't say, like, I think a principal is probably more of a community figure and a public figure, but as a pastor, I am sort of a public figure, right? And if somebody wanted to like harm my reputation or the church or something, it wouldn't be that hard. And so this kind of stuff is scary.
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
is scary.
Holy smokes, you can just type whatever you want, horrible things into a recording deep fake, and then flip it around, and people will say, no, I didn't say that, when it's a real recording, and they'll be like, no, it's a deep fake. And like, I just think we
then there's no
know how to find the truth anymore.
Yep. That's terrifying.
I thought it was a fascinating story. Terrible. I'm glad they caught the guy and they cleared the guy's name and all that, but
wow,
what a story.
Oh, that is crazy. My story is a little more
cheerful,
light.
Hopefully.
It's interesting. It says active volcano in Antarctica spews tiny crystals of gold worth $6,000 a day.
Hold up.
Sounds like a dream, but it's true. In Antarctica, gold rains from the sky. Tucked in among the glaciers, fiery Mount Erebus is the southernmost active volcano on Earth, providing a bit of heat amidst the frozen landscape.
How close is that to the Antarctic post office that was hiring, right? I'd go down there for a couple months.
Oh, my goodness. The frozen continent features 138 volcanoes, with 9 of them reported as active. The summit elevation.
Volcanoes on
Yep,
Antarctica?
we talked about this. Me and Liam were talking about this the other day. We were learning about this.
Liam and I.
Sorry, because we were talking about how. Where did we learn that? It was for school. We were learning about how many active volcanoes there are, which sounds crazy because it's so cold.
And volcanoes can be anywhere, right? But that's just so interesting. I didn't realize that there was that on Antarctica. That's so fun.
It's so cool. It says
7?
Yep, there are 138 volcanoes down there, but only 9 of them are active.
Okay.
So the summit elevation of Mount Erebus is 12,448 feet, and it is the most well-known. It's one of the 3 volcanoes that form Ross Island, and it's said that it was erupting when it was discovered in 1841 by Captain James Clark Ross, who carried out important magnetic surveys in the Arctic and Antarctic and discovered the Ross Sea and Victorian land region of Antarctica. So scientists observe the volcano through the Mount Erebus Volcano Observatory, and they conduct field campaigns to look for life forms. So there's a bunch of study stations and all that. It says satellite images of the volcano reveal a lava lake that's been bubbling since at least 1972.
Cool.
So it regularly pumps out plumes of gas and steam and has been known to eject boulders of partially molten rock called volcanic bombs. So
that's cool.
That sounds
really
super cool. So apparently this volcano is very active. It's exploding, but it says the gas bursts spraying out tiny crystals contain metallic gold that surprised scientists, who estimate the volcano spews around 80 grams of gold a day. That's worth about $6,000.
Every day. That's so fun.
It says the gold has been found hundreds of miles away from Mount Erebus. Antarctic researchers have detected traces of gold dust in ambient air up to 621 miles away from the volcano.
How do you collect it? If it's in the air, do you just like walk around with like kind of
a big
gold
net?
panner's
Like,
net?
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like, go visit Antarctica. You can collect gold from the sky.
How is this not like a massive tour?
I know.
I bet that like either it's super sub-zero whatever, hundreds of miles away from anything useful. Or
I'm sure
that smoke is like toxic and you have to like wear a mask or something.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure you do.
Fascinating.
But First of all, like the biggest fact that I thought was cool, because we learned about this last week, like when we were doing his school study, he had to read it was like a read aloud book that he was doing as part of his language arts. And we learned that there are volcanoes down there. And he was like, whoa, wait, what? Like, we didn't know that.
How did I not know that?
But the fact that there's 9 that are active, like, it's just so cool.
Volcanoes down in Antarctica. Mm-hmm. Well, and then you mentioned, what was it, like 130 or
138 total.
That makes me feel like I don't know much about volcanoes. Like, are there that many all over the place? Is this like normal and maybe they're just all dormant? Like, I could probably name 5 places in the world that have volcanoes that I know about. I just don't know anything, and it's like, boy, our world is so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Ball that God has given us, it's so awesome.
Go to Antarctica if you want to have some gold dust raining from the sky.
Honestly, though, I got to imagine if you went there and let's say you spend 5 days down there, and you get $1,000 a day, right? Like, wouldn't that pay for the trip?
Oh gosh. See the volcanoes down in such a cold place alone, I feel like it'd be a crazy adventure. Like,
you'd have to be super. But that just sounds fun to me. It's like, we'll make all the money back. It costs a lot to get down there, but that's fine.
They'll tax you. They'll tax you on it.
Probably.
You have to give me one handful of gold.
Giant thing of gold that I found.
It's like that. You've heard about that place where is it? Is it in like Utah or whatever? The
we
diamond.
It was down south, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't remember. It might be down south. It's just that big, giant, open land where you can search and search, and if you find a diamond, it could be real.
We talked about that on this podcast. It was one of the early episodes. It was so fascinating because there was like,
and if you find it, you get to keep it. Yep.
And it was like, whoa, this is worth way more than normal. But people find stuff all the time. You find a little something. It's
like going to a place that there's a lot of oysters and being like, is there a giant pearl in this one? Is it worth anything? And it could be or not. But
which I think is so fun.
It's cool.
I do think, as much as I'm like talking it up, like that would be so fun. Antarctica and hiking in the frozen, bitter cold would not actually be fun. I would not like that at all.
It would be pretty cool. Well, you could study penguins. You could just get that job.
That's what I'm saying. Get that job at the, you like go and you do the post office thing where you count the penguins as they walk by. And then when you're on break, go get some money.
From the giant volcano spray. Man, life is exciting down in Antarctica.
I feel like it's getting kind of fun down there.
Oh boy,
that's excellent. That was a fantastic story. Are you ready for Sponsor Your Life?
I am.
What do you got?
I am. Okay, so we're living in a new city. We're getting used to this new area, and we've had a lot of fun little excursions out around the town. So
it's been a thing.
It's been good. So we got we're getting to know the lay of the land and everything. But last week on Sunday, we took a nice little walk as a family.
That was so fun.
Yeah, it was nice. People keep talking about how nice Alger Heights is, and we thought, hey, we
live real close to that.
Yeah, we do. So we thought we'd take a test walk up the street.
No, it's
down the street. You're right. We walked south down the street to Alger Heights. And we checked out how far it is to walk to the library. And then from there, we just walked across the street and got ice cream from this cute little ice cream place. Yeah. And when we were there, JJ made about 19 friends, learned everybody's names, how many kids they have. I just ate my ice cream.
I was in my element.
I know you were. I don't know what this is. The Passion of the Christ. I am loving it.
Office reference.
But for real, it was a cute little ice cream restaurant, and I was encouraged by how many families were out. Like not just like families, but like big families. Like we saw like 2 other people that had like 4 kids.
4 kids. Yep.
So that was kind of cool.
That's why I went up.
Because usually we're like the anomaly, but it was really neat to see.
There was one family, and I was so pumped. I was like, you guys not only are out with kids exactly like our kids, but they brought like strollers.
They let their kids ride their bikes, scooters, and with like 4 and 5-year-olds, and I'm like, you're brave.
So brave, because Eastern is a busy road, like, and the ice cream place is on Eastern Ave, and it's like, I don't know, I wouldn't trust, but their kids were doing so good.
It was cool, but it was such a nice little ice cream restaurant, and a little ice cream stand, and it was, I don't know, like it was cute. The kids were super excited because we got to walk and then get ice cream, and it was just nice to see so many people out in what I would consider to be now our community. Like this is like our local community.
Hard because we made a big adjustment moving to Grand Rapids. We were in a very rural town, and we
Mm-hmm.
really liked Freeland. Like, that was such a fun place to have.
It was
a
very, very
family.
safe.
Yes, and very small town and very spread out, and everybody had space. And so now we're like in the city, right? And it's like the houses are really tight and close to each other, and the buses go by and the cars are loud, and it's very different. And so I was feeling kind of sad and missing some of the stuff that we lost moving into the city. But it was a really, really nice walk, and just kind of like, okay, this could be really fun too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like,
Oh, yeah.
And so it was very cute. What was it called?
Heights Cream.
Yes, Heights Cream. That's right.
It was super cute.
It was awesome. It's right between there was a brewery and a hardware store, and it was like right there on Eastern Ave, and it was a great night. That was so fun. And
it was.
Definitely a good sponsor.
I think so.
Major shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have so many because I've been doing so many things lately. I had one, but I'm going to abandon it because I forgot what it was. But I'm going to do Stovetop Roasters, which is a coffee shop I went to last week. I had to meet with the worship leader of another church. I don't think he listens to this podcast, but if he does, hi Parker. It was super fun to get to know him. We had to talk about some stuff, and then we ended up talking about football a whole bunch. But like, he was like, I really like this coffee shop, and it was kind of a halfway point between us. It was super fun. I don't know what neighborhood it's in. I can't remember. But when I got there, the parking was insane.
What streets was it by? Oh, okay, never mind.
You know that thing where you just sort of tell your phone to take you somewhere and you don't pay attention?
Yeah, you do that a lot.
I do. I don't ever pay attention to
You're
it.
from West Michigan, though, so I feel like...
No, I wasn't going to hang on to that information.
That's okay.
It was
That's
a
fine.
cute neighborhood, whatever it was. But Stovetop Roasters in Grand Rapids. It was a very fun coffee shop.
Nice.
Went in, got some real good coffee. They said for here to go, and I said for here, and they gave it to me in a mug. And that...
I mean, that's what you get when you go to a coffee shop, right?
A lot. Some don't, though. Some will still give you the throwaway mug, like the chains. They will, no matter what they say. It's like, I love coffee in a mug in a coffee
yeah, if
shop.
you're gonna sit down for the long haul, you gotta...
It was good, and I was very happy with my little cup of coffee there. It made me joyful. What?
Sorry, I'm just looking up where it is. Yeah, it's on Fulton.
It's
So.
on Fulton. Okay, there you go. You found it.
I did.
All right, so are you ready for our hot topic?
I am. I think. I don't know what you have, so I'm kind of nervous.
I didn't prep you at all for
No.
this. I have 3 different pieces. Okay, so throughout the lifetime of this podcast, we have done so many different bits. Do you remember? Actually, this is a throwback. Do you remember the end of the world? Segment that we used to do, right? We would go over prophecies and stuff.
Yes.
So I wanted to touch briefly because we breezed right past it. We didn't even talk about it. The eclipse happened.
Oh, yeah. I forget everybody was like all up. Whew, they were crazy about that.
They were, and there was all kinds of goofy stuff. And so I found a fascinating article that I thought was kind of funny. So this one's called timesofisrael.com. For some Christians, upcoming solar eclipse heralds the second coming of Christ. So this was upcoming. The eclipse was back on April 8th.
Yep.
It is now May.
May 2. Is it May 1st?
Well, it's going to be
1st.
May 4, 3.
It's the first.
It's going to be this will be the 3rd when this episode
I'm
drops.
sorry. I thought
We
you meant
record
today.
live. When people listen to it, it's like we're talking right into their
They
ears.
know. They're smarter than that.
Anyways, total eclipse on April 8th. It was visible in North America. It sparked speculation among U.S. evangelical Christians that it could be the end of times. Now, we can already agree, because the segment used to be called This is the End of the World as We Know It.
And I feel fine.
Because end of the world time prophecies are based in a misunderstanding of how prophecy works. So you guys don't actually have to be afraid. You don't actually have to worry. But so this just says, does the upcoming solar eclipse signal the second coming of Jesus? In all likelihood, no.
Probably not.
Well, and so what it did was that people looked at this, and there's all kinds of famous things, and this article goes through like all kinds of different versions, and it's like, for thousands of years we have looked at the sky and said, what does that mean when the sun does that? That's kind of crazy. And there's some stuff in Revelations that makes people uncomfortable. Did you hear about the whole Nineveh thing this time?
I honestly just tuned everything out, because after I heard that eclipses actually happen like multiple times a year, I was like, I don't need to.
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So in the eclipse that just happened, one of the images that fueled predictions of Second Coming was it simply notes that it will overlap the path of the last American solar eclipse in 2017. There's two theories. The eclipses are separated by 7 years, which has symbolic significance, and the last eclipse across America was 2017.
Yeah.
And the current eclipse path, the one we just had, they make across America. And
across from what?
Arrested Development reference. And so people, some Christians have taken this as evidence that the upcoming eclipse is an indication of Jesus' return. But there's no logical basis for this theory.
There's no logic. There's no logic. You're illogical.
Well, and this, again, like, it is a very silly thing. I think it's kind of fun to watch people pull conspiracy theories and, like, draw connections, but it's very silly. Like, it's like, guys, don't actually be afraid. This is nonsense. And this is the part that, like you were talking about. For starters, solar eclipses are not as rare as they seem. They seem rare because they only affect a very narrow strip of land that falls in the shadow of the moon. According to NASA, there has been an average of 2.5 eclipses every year for the past 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So there are some years where there's none, and there's some years where there's like 10, but the average is 2.5 every single year.
Yeah.
It just doesn't always go across America, so people don't, like... And people
I feel like people who get all hyped up about it don't really put much stock in science. And I'm not saying we have to believe only science, but
just simple data and knowing the history. Like the phenomenon of two eclipses crossing paths is unremarkable. If you look at a map of eclipse paths between 2001 and 2025, so just the last 25 years, it is clear that eclipses frequently cross paths. Of the 15 eclipses during that time, only 2 don't cross. Like, they cross all the time. This is not unusual. There was another theory that I saw that was like, this eclipse path goes through like 7 different cities in America that are all named Nineveh. It was like Nineveh in Texas and Nineveh in Illinois and Indiana, and, or whatever. And it was like, all I learned is that there's a bunch of places named Nineveh in America.
I didn't know that, actually.
Like, it's people love to freak out, but they always are leaving out information.
Yep.
And I think it's fascinating and it's goofy, and we kind of like let it slip by because we were in the middle of moving and chaos and stuff. But yeah, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Like, it's guys.
And I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Okay, so now I just have one other segment, but there's 3 parts to it.
Okay.
So this is another bit that we used to do called Christian Celebrity Christian, right? And so I'm going to talk about 3 celebrities. First, Taylor Swift, then Kanye, then Russell Brand.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Okay.
We've already talked a little bit about these things. So,
all these people are so important to me.
I know. You care so much about... This is why we don't do this segment anymore.
Sorry.
We just don't care.
I'm so cynical.
I'm not even cynical. It's just...
I don't care about celebrities, okay? And I'm okay with that.
Well, and I think that's actually a really healthy perspective to have. Like, I'm not saying it's bad to like celebrities. Like, if you like Taylor Swift's music, or if you love Russell Brand's movies, or whatever, or I think he had a TV show.
I'm judging you if you love Russell Brand's movies. You are a terrible person, and I'm just joking.
But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you like someone, that's fine. But then I'm allowed to not care because there's just so
absolutely
much.
Like, it's like people who like Taylor Swift. That's fine. I found out a lot of people like Taylor Swift.
Holy smokes!
That I didn't know who liked Taylor Swift. But either way,
a lot of past.
I know. I was mildly alarmed, not alarmed. Just I was surprised, actually. And no shade. Like, that's totally fine. You are absolutely allowed to like whoever you like.
And I recognize that she's a huge superstar. She's done incredible things. She's very talented. I just personally don't listen to her music, so it just doesn't mean much to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But so she had a new album come out. The what is it called? The Tortured Poets Society or something.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. I know Tortured and Poets is in the title, but I don't know exactly what it.
Okay. I just can get some Dead Poets Society vibes from that title. So sure, whatever, Taylor.
Well, and the whole big thing was she dropped an album at midnight, and then 2 hours later dropped another album.
Of course, because she can do whatever she wants to. She freaking put out
She's pretty talented.
one during the pandemic, so I literally don't I mean, are we
She
surprised?
put out like 5 albums.
I was gonna say she probably did. I recorded this in my room.
Yep. But and I mean, good on her. You
Yeah,
know, that's
sure.
fine.
Hey.
But there was a lot of conversation because what Taylor Swift apparently, and I don't know, I read about it, but she likes to put little Easter eggs and nuggets in her songs for people to find, and her fans very much enjoy digging those out and finding what's the meaning of this and what's the meaning of that and which boy is she talking about in this song and all that kind of stuff. Now, if I could just capture the amount of eye roll.
Can you hear my eyes rolling into the back of my skull?
So I like, and it's like people love to do that. That's fine. That's cool. I know people do that in like Marvel or like Disney movies. They're always looking for Easter eggs.
Hey, I like hidden Mickeys.
I know,
Okay,
that's your thing.
That's my
you
thing.
Like doing. But if you were to gush about hidden Mickeys in, to someone who doesn't care, it's like
they don't care, and that's fine. That's fine.
Everyone's allowed to like their thing. But a lot of her imagery in the new thing was religious. But not specifically just Christian. There was some Christian imagery, but in her lyrics and stuff. I think she referenced a stone being rolled away and casting stones, and like there's different images that she used. But then she also uses other imagery from other traditions, some more like Zen kind of stuff and Eastern religions and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so people were like all up in arms about it, and very like.
She's picking the lowest fruit to choose from.
Because she has a very wide audience. She's one of those people who has hundreds of millions of followers and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, and so the Christian world has gone back and forth about whether it's okay or not. And all the different podcasts are lighting up talking about like,
is it okay to like Taylor Swift?
Some people are like, she's pagan, she's anti-Christian. And some people are like, I think she's just using imagery from maybe
I think
her
she's
upbringing.
Just capitalizing on something that she can make money from.
Well, and these are popular cultural tropes. As much as they are ours because we're Christian, they are also our world's because Christians have shaped our world a lot.
True.
And so it's like, people are going to use our words. They're going to use our stuff. And then I heard someone who was sort of a Taylor Swift apologist, but also a deep Christian, and she was like, I love Taylor Swift. I just think we should be asking deeper questions about, well, what does she mean when she says this thing, rather than trying to decide whether it's Christian or not. So here's my question. It's sort of as a general thing. When we deal with celebrities and Christianity, how seriously should we take this? Should we care? Like, what if she said in the middle of her song, Christians are just the worst and I think they're all dumb? Does that matter? Should we condemn that? Should we say she's not a Christian? She's not in our tribe or in our camp, so why would we worry about it?
I honestly wouldn't put any stock in what she says. She's literally just trying to make money. She's famous and she's going to do whatever keeps her famous, whether it's, saying she's a Christian so she can get more Christians to listen to music, or saying the Christians are stupid so she can get a bigger audience with people who hate Christians. Like, either way, she's just looking to make money off of us, so it doesn't literally matter what she says. And
even if you thought, like, more, if we wanted to be more charitable and say she's just an artist, right? And she's just going to make her music, and she doesn't need to make more money, but she wants to probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it's like maybe she just likes writing songs, and so she's borrowing images. I'm not particularly offended, but I guess I've always had a very high view of God when it comes to this stuff. It's like, look, that person can't hurt God's actual image.
Right.
They can co-opt and say mean things and do terrible things, but there's a whole market for musicians and comedians and different people to attack Christianity in order to raise their stakes, to raise the outrage factor, which gets them more clicks and likes and sales.
True. Yeah.
I don't even think that's what she's doing.
I don't think so
she's
either.
Just borrowing, because Christian imagery is powerful, so she's borrowing from here and there.
Yeah.
I don't think she's I wouldn't call her a Christian. I wouldn't say she has any kind of Christian stance or ethic or anything, and that's fine. Like, well, obviously I would love for her to come to know Jesus, of course. But like, I don't evaluate her music by any of our standards. It's like, no, she's just another non-Christian artist.
She's
like
just
so
doing
many.
what those people do.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm just very like, it's okay. Like, it's not going to hurt God. God is so much bigger than that. But speaking of artists and musicians who have claimed to be Christian to sell albums, let's switch over to Kanye real quick.
Yeah, you told me about this the other day.
Oh, it just breaks my heart. I almost wasn't even going to, because I really enjoyed Kanye's sort of journey, and to watch him like dabble in like, hey, what does a Christian ethic look like? And then he just kind of fell off the bandwagon, I guess. He recently announced, for those who don't know, and I'm not going to go into it, but he recently announced an adult entertainment company, and people were mad. People, both like Christians and non-Christians, even the non-Christians were like, dude,
what
that doesn't
the heck?
fit. You can't, like, why would you do that? I hope it's enough for him to shut it down. Like, I hope people are just like, but he has been pretty much immune to anything anyone says ever, because he doesn't listen, you know.
No.
But that's been part of his brand. He just does what he wants.
That's true.
And unfortunately, yeah, it's just kind of a
That's his vibe.
It's
just yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was always super cynical and skeptical of it anyway.
Yeah.
So this really doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, and if you remember when we used to do celebrity Christian celebrity way back, that was almost always our thing. Is like, it's really challenging to follow the way of Jesus and to be a Christian and be a celebrity.
Yeah.
So most celebrities who become genuinely Christians stop being celebrities.
Fade away from the spotlight.
They disappear, and they usually start living quiet lives.
Well, if you're really trying
Jesus.
to follow Jesus and live his example, Jesus did not seek notoriety.
Nope.
He did not seek that at all. So Kanye, sorry, but
he didn't fade from the spotlight. You know, he actually used it to stay in the spotlight.
Yep.
People were pretty upset about that. That was a bummer. And so then that takes us to the final one, which is Russel Brand, who is fairly well known as sort of a, I want to kind of say like he's new agey with his religious type things, and he's had some sort of deep philosophical moments where he kind of would talk and wax eloquent about things, but he was not religious or Christian in any way. And I would say his ethic and some of the things he's promoted were deeply anti-Christian, but has recently become baptized and said that we as a nation and a world need to come back to Jesus. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm afraid they're going to do the thing they always do, which is take this baby Christian who just is starting down this journey, even if it is genuine, to take him and then make him like the spokesperson for Christianity. And it's like, the baby Christians are not supposed to be the spokesperson, you know? To find someone who's been a Christian for 50 years, you know, and has been walking that walk humbly. That's the person you should ask about.
But they want the celebrity because they're flashy and they're something everyone recognizes.
And I guess I don't know about that. And so I've struggled, and I'm a little apathetic because I'm not very attached to Russell Brand's work.
Not really.
He doesn't have anything that he's made
Nothing
that I'm
remarkable.
Like, this is the best.
Yeah. No.
He has made me laugh, his comedy, but mostly it's been really crass and inappropriate, and I just don't really like it. And
Agreed.
so I'm gonna, like with Kanye, I'm gonna hope and I'm gonna pray, and like I hope it's genuine, and I hope it's like, and then Russell Brand is gonna retire quietly and to serve humbly in his community, and you know what I mean? Like that's my dream next headline that no one will ever write.
I will probably forget any of this story even existed, and one day when you say, well, Russell Brand fell off the bandwagon, I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's right, we talked about him forever ago.
Christian for a little while.
Oh yeah, he said he was. Anyway.
I just think the celebrity life is just so against.
It just goes against the values, and
I think it's hard to follow Jesus in a normal life.
It is.
In America, especially in America, but the celebrity life is just so deeply in that. All right, well, that's enough about celebrities, and now we will never talk about them ever again until the next famous person.
I was gonna say, until somebody else hops on that.
I guess it's fun to talk about because I know it stirs the hornet's nest, especially on the internet.
Yep.
But the truth is, like, really, we shouldn't be talking about it. It's like, if that's a journey someone is starting, awesome.
Have your journey.
I hope so.
Yep.
But
we don't need to speculate.
And again, we don't need to make these people spokespeople for Christianity.
It's true. It's true.
And so it's just sort of a cautionary tale from Kanye and then from the Taylor Swift buzz.
Oh my gosh.
Which some people were saying, like, look, she's just writing songs using imagery. It's just because she is so famous and is such a huge deal that's why the religious people are getting angry, because being angry at a super famous person is lucrative, and that's kind of sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, that's a cheerful note to end on.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good. That's okay. I'll cheer everybody up at the end with my jokes.
Yes. All right. Wait. Let me say thanks everybody for listening to this goofy podcast. I said everybody. Thanks, wonderful
Friends.
listeners. Thanks for. Ooh, I like that a lot. Thanks, friends, for listening. Ooh, I'm gonna use that. Thanks, friends, for listening to this. I almost said wonderful podcast that we do. I don't know if it's
You've said the word wonderful like 19 times. I think you need to chill
favorite
out.
Words.
I know.
It's a wonderful word.
Wonderful, amazing, awesome, super cool, really great.
Told you that story, right? When I was in college and I had to write a paper reviewing a movie, and the professor came to me and she's like, "You used the word fantastic 6 times in this paper."
I'm sorry, I can't accept this. Fantastic, one more time, receives an F.
She made fun of me in front of the whole class for being too positive.
And she should have.
I
read your papers in college. I know what they were like.
Oh man, we gotta wrap this up. Thank you for listening, friends.
I had to swallow the everybody. Quick swallow your everybody.
Thanks for whoever makes our theme song, and we will be back next week. You want to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
Yes. Where did people hang out during medieval times?
I don't know.
Nightclubs. Oh, yes. It's so good.